explaining enlightenment to yourself and how it takes on this different nature than trying to explain it to other people. I feel like it gets a lot more, I guess, what we call deep when you begin explaining it to yourself. Because it's easy. It's what I'm doing right now. What I'm explaining to you, and everything I explain in my videos, it's easy to talk. It's easy to talk. But when you are with yourself and begin asking the questions and thinking the things that you think about, it gets a lot more indescribable. You think you've got it when you're talking to people, and like you're like, they'll get this, they'll get it when I say it this way. But when you're with yourself, it doesn't really matter, because you are your vocabulary that you use to explain things, and it's just kind of suspended there, and it's this vast kind of thing that seems to be indescribable when you're with yourself. And
as soon as you try to describe it, things get awkward.
I guess to get to the root of your question, why do we try to explain it? It's tied into the same reason as to why we try to explain anything, because it's that feeling of the scientist going, like, splitting the atom. That, aha, I got it, I fucking did it feeling, you know, like, you understand it.
Right.
You think you've got it.
I think Alan Watts talked about it in a really cool way that made sense to me. What he said, enlightenment is like telling a joke. You either get it and belly laugh, or you pretend to get it and pretend to laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
And to me, that struck me very deep, because what is it in you that understood that joke and genuinely laughed about it?
And actually, it was fucking hilarious, yeah.
And felt that emotion come through you uncontrollably. And to me, that made sense a lot as to what enlightenment is. It isn't a specific thing. It's a unspoken understanding, if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. And I think it's good to question things and get your own kind of take on the things that you experience. But the effort that you put into thinking about what enlightenment is I think
trying to explain the joke. As soon as you explain the joke, you lose the punchline. There's no more.
It's not really it
exactly
when you try to explain it.
You're trying to explain something that is not able to be done through words.
And I think that's the biggest killer. The quote, enlightenment is the ego's biggest disappointment, is because the second you articulate it, you go, oh, okay, I get it. And it's not this mysterious, spiritual thing anymore. It's fucking intellect. You got it. Now what? And I don't think we are able to comprehend both what enlightenment is, or even simply why we try to explain things, because here I am trying to explain why I explain things. And that is the nature of the beast, I guess, is that the storyteller, the presenter of information, is just embedded in the same way anything is embedded in this reality, I guess. So basically, to get a sense of, I got it. You know,
Right.
we can move on now. I don't have to worry about that anymore. It's not something I don't know, you know. So that's basically my take on it.
Okay. Last question. Do you think consciousness is one specific shared thing? Or do you think it's separate, specific to each individual? If so, what do you think the goal or purpose of it being separate or one is?
Well, to answer the first part of the question, if it's one, or I guess multi-conscious, where there's multiple consciousnesses, consciousness within the
Right.
thing, I feel like consciousness itself is the most elusive, left alone part of the universe and existence itself, because we are only in, all we can talk about is the content within the consciousness. And I feel that there just is awareness. There is awareness. And it is everywhere. It is everywhere. But the contents and, I guess, imagery or scene within the different, I guess, parts of this mass omni-awareness, you get the illusion that there's another one, and 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 another one. But to me, I feel it is this pervasive energy. It is the most relevant thing of existence, is that you are conscious. There is consciousness. And I feel like it's there. But there is infinite contents within the consciousness, within the scope of what is being perceived. This mass consciousness, from different angles, from different upbringings of itself, from different points of view physically, points of view mentally. Like I think it's interesting how it really seems that your consciousness is in your body. But like, if anything, in you is the most unconscious part of you, because it's black. You don't see nothing.
Right.
Nothing. The most conscious part about me seems to be everything else besides me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what makes it such a background character, is that we are always enthralled in the what is being perceived.
I think it's a weird way of the universe looking into a mirror. It's looking at itself in a way. And all these different people.
All there is. It's looking at all that is.
Exactly. And as far as we know anyway, as far as we can see, and that's what I think scientists are stuck on, is the only things that exist are what we can see. And they keep making these groundbreaking discoveries with all this new technology. They keep innovating. And they're slowly coming to the realization that they don't actually know shit. You know?
And they're starting to
there's
tell
a
us
few,
that.
Exactly. I
Which is
was
funny.
watching a documentary where the scientist himself said that. He said it's come to seem that we actually don't know anything. Everything, the further we look into it, it gets more complicated and more complex.
We think it's going to get
and
easier
all of a
to
sudden
understand.
it's going to be, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But it seems to
It's
be
like-
that no matter how far we zoom in, it seems to be breaking down and getting smaller and smaller. And no matter how far we zoom out, things seem to be getting bigger and bigger. And we can't actually wrap our heads around how much actually there is. And
We expect something to keep popping out and telling us.
mm,
We expect basically the equivalent of God ripping open the seams of reality, handing us a physical book with words written in his blood that say why the universe exists.
or coming down and just saying, "I told you so." Imagine that. Imagine how
That would
devastating
leave
it
me-
would be.
Oh my God! Yeah,
As,
you know what?
As
Like,
a cultural,
That'd make more
the
questions.
the mindlessness that we've been through in however many years, the people who have lost faith in Christianity, the families that used to
Right.
be
like you should have
very.
listened.
That's what I'm saying.
You
So
should've
all of a sudden,
listened,
someone
dude.
comes down, and everything that was talked about in these Bibles actually happens.
You're
all
going
of a
to
sudden,
hell.
all of a sudden, these people are going to be saying, "Sorry, please forgive me. I
Yeah,
was
right.
faithful. I still thought of all this." They're going to try and weasel their way into heaven.
Yeah, dude.
And I don't know how we got into this topic, honestly, but I think it's just religion itself is a way to try and explain consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
I think scientists are a way of trying to explain consciousness, and I think we are a way of trying to explain consciousness. In whole, I think consciousness is trying to understand itself.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that we don't know relays to me that it doesn't know.
Exactly.
And whatever it is, all of this is just us trying
Like what
to
we
understand
are. We're the
it.
entire universe asking itself where
Literally,
it is.
everything that's led up to this moment, and if you believe in time or not, things have led up to this moment. We're not here by pure miracle. And what is the whole everything happened last Thursday theory?
Yeah.
The scientists. I didn't really
I
understand
didn't
that.
understand it either.
There was a scientist talking
Look
about
that up.
how
Last Thursdayism. It's
Yeah.
a very confusing
I didn't get
philosophical concept.
they're saying, who's to say that everything didn't pop into existence last Thursday?
But just to let you know, it's kind of like the flat Earth thing, where like you can't prove them wrong. They because it all happened last Thursday. But this is completely off topic. But what was the last part of your question? Something to do with like, what's the purpose of
Yeah,
it?
if consciousness is one or separate, what do you think the goal or purpose of that is? The fact that let's just say consciousness, it is trying to understand itself. Why? What do you think the purpose or goal of it trying to understand itself is?
Well, this is where things get wonky, is you got the understandings that I am in the universe as a thing, as a conscious thing, or holy shit, I am the fucking universe.
Let's make this question easier by saying we are the universe. And consciousness is one. Experienced separately.
There is...
As in a fractal. Let's say consciousness is a fractal effect.
the idea of a goal and purpose is take goal out of the equation, the purpose, that's the biggest thing we look for in existence, you know? Like, even somebody that says they understand I don't have a purpose, they like pat themselves on the back like, yeah, this is where I am. This is what I understand. That's their purpose. is, fuck, I don't have a purpose, dude, that's sick, you know? But to ask if there's a all-round goal or purpose of the universe, to me, makes the entire universe seem like a experiment or simulation. I don't use that word a lot, but I was thinking about it when I was like devising the questions to ask.
It's funny you say that, because I was just thinking of something along those lines, being...
If there was a goal or purpose, that brings in the ideas of achievement or satisfaction, or, which makes me think those things are literally just residing within us. There is no sense of purpose or goal in the entire universe. It's only in us. But that's where I get stumped, is thinking, shit, I am the universe. There must be a part of the universe that's trying to get something from what's happening.
What I was just thinking personally was that it's... Let's say that consciousness is the universe in whole. There's something about the consciousness that is the universe. And its goal through us is to push its limits. Yeah. To see how far it actually is. Because it doesn't know.
And that's the self-integrated experiment of itself.
That's what I was just thinking personally, is that what we are is this crazy, complex species that is the universe, that's using itself to push itself, to understand itself.
No, that makes fucking sense, dude.
And it seems to be that way with our species specifically. Because you don't see ants trying to build cities and rocket ships. And you know what I mean? So
humans, that kind of brings me into... These aren't even... This is literally just a talk now. But that reminds me of, like, the idea of natural and synthetic. Of, like, if humans did it, it's not natural. It's fake.
Right.
I kind of look at it at the idea that we are like neurons or cells moving across the universe.
Doing something.
And if I'm able to literally make a new chemical out of stuff that's around me, and I'm using my natural chemically made body to make it, those guys are in there going, we just made a fake drug, or we just made that
and that's the ego separation there, is what I think.
I think it's the universe pushing its limits, expanding itself unconsciously, because they think they're doing things that are not natural. Right. They think their presence is not natural, you know. But I feel like it really ties into the idea that the universe is spreading itself out. The idea of the Big Bang, everything's moving apart. We're all moving consciously, trying to explain and feel around and just get a fucking grip, you know? And I very much do think there is a part of all of this that is, like, asking and wondering, you know?
Because that's... The other day I asked you, why do we think at all? Why are thoughts even thoughts?
I gotta think about that.
You know?
Yeah.
So, the fact that thoughts pop into your head, it is just as much a mystery to me as any of these questions we've asked. The fact that we have questions, the fact that we have thoughts to begin with, all seem very crazy to me.
And what was funny, dude, is I kind of had this feeling that he didn't want to make this video with me, because before we started, I felt like he was thinking to himself, like, why the fuck are we deliberately making a video of asking questions about the universe, you know? It's like just making your scenario worse type thing, I guess. And I did think about that, like the idea of a Q&A is honestly kind of the epitome of a lot of these questions. There is something that just is dying to know. Wants to know, wants to be able to articulate, you know?
I think to me it's a good reminder that we don't know. And I'm afraid, like, that is my safety net, if you will. And it's the best safety net that I've been able to find, in the sense that when I get anxious or caught up in my thoughts, it's because I don't know, and I'm constantly trying to understand that. Does that make sense? The part of me that is constantly questioning things is because it doesn't know.
And that is a sort of baseline.
Pretty much.
Sort of, oh shit, I don't know. Better try.
Yeah, exactly.
Better try. But
I'm not gonna
what
just
is
sit
that?
here
I don't
like
know.
a rock and not think about anything. But the fact that I've been able to understand, I don't actually know why we're here,
And the
what we
fact
are.
that we ask.
Exactly. So that is a thing to me.
Because we don't know.
Yes, exactly.
No, I think that made a pretty good video, man.
Good.
That's a good wrap.
Yeah, it's funny actually, like, being on the video. I don't know how often you've brought my name up or anything.
I've brought you
like
up
that.
in a few different videos here and there. Yeah, he's a big fucking part of just the progression of my channel, the types of videos I make. A lot of those videos are based off of talks we've had.
Like this?
Or yeah.
I guess that's kind of the point of this video, or one of the points is to kind of...
I really wanted to share the relationship and type of communication I have with my brother. It wasn't like the fact that we made up the questions to ask each other.
If you guys have questions that you wanted to ask,
yes, I was
after this video,
I was going to make a
that'd be
video saying, yo, give me a bunch of questions and I'll make a video of us answering it. But I thought it would have been more interesting to ask each other questions that we were curious to hear.
each other's answers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I will be back with more soon.
See you guys.